y'all met kind of for the second session after the long, egregious revival of one Margo and returned back to the large conference room talking about what is this massive pyramid and all of its resources response going to be to the threat north of Allegory into Aurora's Rest. Overall, lots of emotional teeter-tottering and back and forth, which ultimately ended in the leader of the pyramid, Gesimus, basically saying, this sounds easy because it's not your resources, it's not your people, it's not your money, it's not your reputation and efforts, but it is the right thing to do, and so that's where I want to put my money in. That's where I want to put my worth and my actions. There was a vote to move forward with a couple of different options of storming the castle and trying to retake Aurora's Rest, versus sneaking in and trying to get something out of Hasport's laboratory that would help to stave off the reinforcement patterns that Fire was utilizing across the globe. A hybrid approach was ultimately decided on, as well as some training for the magical gatherings, or the high-level magical users, for Margo to hopefully show them a spell that does not explode them all. And that is where we left off. In addition, since this is a heist, Dro had the idea of bringing Seamus back into the fold because of his sticky fingers and stealthy abilities. So a little bit of in the back end, the request to reach out to the Guild of Knowledge went up the chain. The communications were given. Dro, what's a high level message that you provided to Seamus to ask for him to come back?
I think Dro would had the conversation with Gesimus. At high level spark notes, Dro would have outlined the fall of Aurora's Rest, and in that fall, the death of Margo, and where they are now. The plan.
Mind you, Troy doesn't know most of these details.
Okay.
Neither does Seamus.
Backtrack then. Well, all of Aurora's Rest because Fire invaded with a surprise attack. The merchant that him and Yaslin had bought what were they called? The thermal cubes?
Thermal cubes.
Yeah.
Theo's thermals.
Happened to be a member of Fire, a Dragonborn in disguise.
Not a Dragonborn. You don't know his race, but that was Bloom, not the Dragonborn.
Didn't he resemble a golden Dragonborn, though?
No, there was a golden Dragonborn, but Bloom resembled a goat made out of molten gold.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So Dro would inform him of that. Tell him that they were able to close the graft in the city with the cost of Margo sacrificing herself to close it. They are now in Aurora's Rest Allegory, but they fled from Aurora's Rest because it was overtaken by fire. They fled the rest of them with some new people to Allegory, and have been up here for a day or two ish. And discussions
at this point within Allegory as a whole, you guys have probably been here for maybe half a week at this point.
Okay.
Getting everybody situated, kind of settled, medically speaking, tested, and then about a day and a half for the conference. So it's been about 4 days since you arrived here already.
Okay. And in those 4 days, Joe would outline surviving members of Aurora's Rest, along with the group, had a discussion with the Council of Allegory here, discussing what had happened in Aurora's Rest and a potential potential plan to attempt to take back Aurora's Rest if agreed upon. But we had outlined that the person that knows most about graphs is dead, and if there is a way to bring her back, and they surprisingly seemed pretty confident in it. He would talk about the ritual and very, very quickly skim over the 2 creepy twins that did the ritual.
And those 2 were fantastic.
They were something.
I made new NPCs that were kind of twins fused at the mind, and they're on the same level as like you love them, but they also have massive cringe factor, kind of like Dire.
Mm-hmm. They were one of those finishing each other's sentences and motions and all of that. He would also outline the ritual was a success, obviously with us at a cost, releasing some creatures into the world, similar to what we fought in Margo's dream realm. But we did get Margo back. He would very lightly touch on that it's not the same Margo you remember her as. Yeah. He would just say we can explain that more if you arrive. And then talk about the second part of the council meeting where a plan to take back Aurora's Rest is discussed. Obviously, there's potential pay for it. Like, what does Allegory get out of helping? And we've come down to it was 2 options: either a stealth mission to retrieve the Hasport's device, which allows him to detect graphs, or a frontal attack. But surprisingly, out of everybody, Yaslin chimed in and said, why not both? We have 2 groups, one being a distraction group and another being the stealth group, which that's where Dro chimed in and asked what he would outline as the leader of this council to you, to reach out to you, because that's your expertise is stealth. And then after that, just there's a lot to talk about.
Yes, there is.
What's the artifact, or what are you guys trying to steal also?
Joe will probably explain. It was a device created by Hasport that allowed them to detect graphs. We temporarily used it when we were there. Hasport and Margo, really the only ones that understood what the fuck we were staring at, and detected the graph that was used to take over Aurora's Rest. I think that was pretty much all we had with it, if I remember correctly.
Mm-hmm. So Seamus, as you are requested to come to this new place, your history check means that you, from earlier, you don't know anything about this place. You're quickly kind of like rushed through the introductions of this. Allegory is a country that prides itself on what you can hunt, the most valuable, dangerous, intelligent things that you can hunt and bring down. It's a meritocracy based around that. And as you see in this conference room view that we have right now, there are multiple like large constructed pyramids that kind of are built out of rocks in this kind of like very cavernous winding space in between the mountain range that was Aurora's Rest, and then further down you have the Ripple Mountain range. or at least the mountain range that Ripple Mountain belongs to, because that's a singular spot. It's not the name of the whole range. And each one of these pyramids is referred to as a chapter, and each one has their own kind of specialty. The higher up you are, the more power, influence, and ownership you have within that place. And each one of the pyramids is either taller or shorter than the other ones around it, again, denoting station and influence. This one is referred to as Chapter Stalker. You came in through a different chapter, one related to the study of essentially monsters duology and learning how to take things down from an anatomical standpoint, like learning the weaknesses biologically and mentally of certain things. You were transferred eventually to this one. And you're given a minute to kind of reconnect with your friends, and you are informed that you have an upcoming test of sorts to kind of find your placement in the ranking system of thing. Essentially, everybody that comes into the city is kind of ranked so that they can tell what your skill of hunting is, and that essentially kind of gives you a baseline for like, what is your word worth while you're here.
Is it a group test or an individual test?
It's an individual. It's a one-on-one. Everybody else except for the newly revived Margo, who got a temporary hold on her test, has done this. Mm-hmm. So with that, you guys are brought out of the conference. There's some downtime if you guys want to have anything happening kind of in the background, but essentially like the day after the conference, Seamus is able to get here, and you guys are able to kind of meet up in more of a barracks and training room that's connected to where you're sleeping, now that you guys don't have to spend yet another night in the infirmary. And who all would be there? Who would be absent for the kind of collecting of this new group who is starting to plan and think about how to both assault the more of the front gates versus the group that's sneaking behind? Is there anybody that would not want to be here for this portion of conversing?
So I had a question about the end of last session, because we ended last session with Theric about to talk to Margo and Yaslin about to talk to her people. Are we just skipping all those conversations and going to the next day?
I had forgotten about that part. I was trying to think about how to weave Seamus back in. Cool. Yeah, those are items that, like, the conference is kind of over, and then there is some downtime between there. Those are things that can absolutely happen.
I know Dro wanted to get a conversation with, what's her name? Alabadalo?
I'll be a dollar.
Yeah.
Okay.
I love that you can never remember that name.
For whatever reason, it came to my brain when I made this character, and I love this name. Like, it stuck with me.
It fits her so well.
Mhm.
Look at her.
I'll be a dollar Mandur.
But I think that conversation, because if I remember correctly, you said after the council kind of wrapped up, she stopped and was talking with some people in Aurora's Rest. I think eventually he would pull her to the side, because previously, I think it was the first time we were brought here, Dro had mentioned he wasn't fully confident in his champion powers at the moment.
Right, that was one of the first conversations you had, and then like during the conference, and you let it slip that all the Jin, all the let me make sure I'm saying the right title here.
Yeah, the Jin showed up at the fight. Well, not all, but Fire and Earth.
Right, but half of them.
Yeah. Joe forgot what he told her and what he didn't.
Steward. I wanted to say the hams, but now it's the stewards. You had mentioned that all of the half of the stewards from the cardinal elements, being the djinns that were inside the volcano, underneath Aurora's Rest, or underneath Ripple Mountain, they had all shown up there, and you about blew Albiadala's brain out of her eyeballs with that comment that you had just happened to not say before.
Just casually
So-
drop that.
Yeah, casually drop that, and as you come up and like you about to like take her away, she is very interested in talking to you too.
Troll left Margo to make friends and then walked off.
All right. So Dro, Margo, and Yaslin, everybody, each one of you give me some rollies. Let's see which conversation is going to happen first.
No. D20?
Yep, D20.
Okay.
Ooh, Margo.
Pretty
rolling
good.
Woo!
high. Yaslin saying dragging it.
17.
17. Okay. Dro, go ahead. You get the chance to speak with Albiadala.
Just out of curiosity, when he walks up, who's she talking to right at the moment?
She is talking to the other members of Aurora's Rest. With your passive insight and kind of how the conversation went previously, the council is fractured. Aurora's Rest's leadership is kind of in shambles, so they're kind of putting it together with the pieces that they have on the board, even though it's not the full, game set. And so at the moment, that includes Tillis and Kian as prominent merchants who operated inside of Aurora's Rest, including Victor Blackmoon. Like, they are trying to get these fractured portions of leadership from Aurora's Rest and to kind of agree on things until they can kind of gather the entirety. And so, reading body language, you see that they are kind of conversing internally about, okay, what are we comfortable with giving Allegory as recompense for their efforts to help take our home back? A little bit of that came up during the conference. You see them, they are trying to continue weighing those options.
So, Dro would just kind of walk up and politely interrupt. If you don't mind and look over, could I borrow you for a conversation?
I think it is high past time we had one. So yes, the rest of you please excuse me. And the two of you can kind of like wander off into your own spot for a minute.
So obviously a lot has happened, and I realize there may have been some details about Rippletop that I had mistakenly forgotten to inform you about.
I would very much so appreciate understanding the full picture of what happened there, because I thought I knew and I was sorely mistaken based on your comments earlier.
Yeah, let's just start from the top, and this will explain a little bit more of the questions I have for you. Like we've put together, the group and I traveled to Rippletop for a different job. It took us there, and during our time there, we encountered fire. That is where we met Margo, and where we had also separated from a companion of ours. He knew really nothing of how the elements worked in that term of hierarchy and all of that. We fought creatures of fire as we continued up to find the source of the invasion, where we had battled with a large salamander-like fire creature a couple times. First time making it retreat back into its home, its volcano, and we chose to follow it. Therefore, encountering it again, where
Into a volcano.
you should learn really fast with this group. We don't think. We're very impulsive.
Unfortunately, that's tracking with what I've observed so far.
Yeah, you should hear some other stories. I mean, one of us even jumped off a skyship, but that's a whole other story. The the second encounter is where, and he'll roll up his sleeve to expose his scar, where I made the choice, out of desperation, to become the champion of water. Not fully understanding what it meant to me. All it meant was my friends and I got out alive, which did happen. Again, at a cost. The water djinn, from what I understand, sacrificed himself, but them dying is different from us dying to a point. I guess they're just...
Yes, they have, from what I can tell so far with my compatriots, they have an infinite cycle of rebirth. We've spoken of this King Phoenix, but it's not quite like that. It's more like the spirit is dispersed throughout the world, and then naturally their elemental affinities begin to regather that spirit, and it will once again form into the proper steward. Whereas the Phoenix, it's a recomposition of the body with the soul. It's the entirety gets recycled together, and near instantaneously by comparison.
Yeah, that is also where Margo closed the first graft. We actually encountered the fire djinn, therefore the water djinn kept him at bay for a time and weakened him, and we fought him, which definitely left a toll on us. Kieran showed up to help. We were able to...
That's not possible. They have a set of rules that they have to follow, and that sounds like a violation. They can only interfere when the balance is broken, and they're actively helping those that serve them.
Tro just looks down at the scar. Well, from what I picked up, even if I don't want to, I serve them. I think. I don't really understand this power, to be honest. That's kind of the whole point of this conversation. Is, from what I learned, there's a hierarchy, there's champions, there's beasts, there's all of this, and
Yes.
the power each element has at some point, the champions and all of that can use, which I've used a little, not fully sure how, but that's kind of where you come in the fight with fire. Is Warden still in this room? Or Protector?
He's pretty fucked up. But he has not left the room now.
Sitting surly in a chair.
Yeah, so he's definitely there, but it's a little bit of like, I can feel my own head moving. Oh, this is a weird experience.
Shiro's gonna glance back and kind of look at him and realize he's drunk as hell. He'll drop his tone a little bit to more of a whisper. During the fight with fire, when Bloom stabbed Yaslin, there was a moment of a voice, which voices in my head is not uncommon at this point with who I've traveled with, and Kieran speaking to me, and I'm still learning how to communicate to them, but a more darker, almost view of under a sea but a raging storm above. And I remember hitting Bloom with a lot more force than I've ever hit anybody with. And it took Brandar to snap me out of it. And this connection to whatever that was seemed like power, but Kieran chimed in, told me there needs to be balance. And he's just gonna kind of hold the sword out. Has it out there in this whole conversation. So I want to learn how to use these powers, which I'm slowly am. But now there seems to be a portion that I shouldn't tap into.
Allow me to interpret what I can here, especially based on my studies and my understanding. Do you know why I chose to study the creation and the cardinal elements and everything that came before the population of Aeon?
You just kind of look at her multicolored hair, knowing she's a what are they called? Why am I going brain dead on it?
Genasi.
Thank you. Just kind of, I could take a wild guess.
I am Genasi, but more than that, I have cousins and sisters and brothers who they are pure blood Genasi. They lean towards fire or earth or air or something else. I even know of distant family members who are of shadow or magic as their Genasi heritage. I am a mutation. As far as we can tell, I am the centralized point for all of them. I am an oddity and a malfunction of the bloodlines. Like every ancestor gave an equal amount into my heritage. I am, and oddly enough, none of them are dominant, none of them are recessive. They are all equalized. It was that curiosity of my own bloodline that drew me to study where we came from. So, as that gives you a bit more understanding of myself, you've just recently told me that 3 of my great grandfathers and my grandmother were fighting under a volcano under a moist mountain.
Well, technically 2 of them are fighting above it.
Ah. So, when the world was created, many of them got bored They still had free reign, unlike the core elements, and they began to experiment with the way that they had created the world. Many of them took wives, husbands, had children, and that was the beginning of the Aeonian Genasi bloodline. I backtracked my family genealogy to discover much of what is known today about the creation of the world. So allow me to return to your earlier point. I have a unique advantage in seeing what all of the elements are like. I can feel each of them in my blood, in my bones, in my mind, my soul. They are everything inside of me. So when you say there's a part of water that is something you should not touch, I believe you are incorrect. In that, there's, in each one of them, there is something that you should not only rely on. Most think of fire as this raging inferno, this ceasingly hungry beast that devours everything. And while that is partially true, it is also incomplete. It is also warmth of a fire. It is also the soothing embrace of the heat of the body of the person that you love as you hug them. It is a slow and creeping burn underneath the surface before something ignites that no one knew was there. It is the light in the sky that gives us warmth and daylight. Each element has its own diagram of dichotomies, and water is no exception. Gentle, soothing, thirst-quenching, yes, but also incredibly forceful, deep, terrifying, dark. If I can be so bold as to interpret the will of the Kirin based on the short amount that you've told me, I believe that is what she was referring to. Balance means being able to use all the aspects of your element for the appropriate situation, not diving in so far into any one aspect that you lose sight of all the others. If you would like me to train you in what I know, I certainly would. Let's see what we can find out about these unfamiliar powers you have.
That would be very helpful because there is no How to Be a Champion dummy book. So
Perhaps we'll write one.
yeah, it would at least be beneficial at the minimum to be able to figure out how to contact the Kirin at times for guidance. Ironically, the first time I was actually able to was when I talked to a water elemental and he talked back.
Channeling source?
And he'll pull out the bowl that he got from the college.
Oh my.
This is what I used to summon it.
Oh, that's quite the specimen. Would you like me to study it, and perhaps I can find why that worked?
I mean, answers would be helpful. Anything. in terms of this power, why I can do what I can do, why I can now understand this water elemental, why I can breathe underwater, move freely underwater, walk on water. I think having a better understanding of how these powers work might ease the fear I have with them.
Understanding is the route to overcome doubt and fear. Makes sense to me. So, in the coming days as we are preparing, I shall steal you aside for a few moments here and there to try to help you along your path. From what I can tell with this nightmare that we're in, we're going to need a strong champion to counterbalance the situation at home.
He's gonna glance around, look for Andar. I just hope your training methods very much differ from his.
I hear he's brutal.
That's an understatement.
That makes sense. I will find you soon, and I will tell you what I can about this as soon as I can.
Okay.
So, for the moment, you do not have your bowl of water summoning in your inventory.
Okay.
Okay, and she returns back to her conversation to try to iron out whatever details she possibly can. Margo. Or rather,
Oh
Thara.
fuck, this is me again.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, different character. Just for quick
beautiful.
introductions, for Troy, meet Tharok. This is Q's second character. We also have Delphine, Kiki's additional character. Haru from Lily. Lunith from Noah. And Cressida, also from Kiki, because I may or may not have killed off her character for a few weeks. So she got an extra.
Very cool.
So, Tharok, the conference starts to break up. You can approach Margo. In her very delirious and, obviously agitated form.
Dro left you with Cressida and Lunith, right?
Yeah, and Cressida started asking her a plethora of questions off of her checklist in her notebook, and she's looking around kind of like, Dro left me here to be nice, but somebody please, gods, save me from this conversation.
Okay.
The magic nerds being Koilak.
Oh yeah, Koilak's there too.
Oh my god.
Yeah, Koilak is a biomental.
Koilak and Cressida are comparing notes and trying to teach Lunith whatever chaotic notes they have while questioning Margo. It's not going great.
No, it's a nerd storm, is what it is.
I'm just picturing that. Okay. So Tharok is tired of waiting. He doesn't care. There's a conversation going on. He doesn't, especially when he sees what they're talking about, because that hurts his head. He'll just walk over to you. Oh god, you're tiny too. See, this man is towering over you.
Margo is 5'2"? 5 foot?
Yeah, 5'2". She's 5'2". Well, I don't remember. I'll look it up later.
5'2", and Tharok is 7?
7 something.
It's in her character sheet.
Yeah. Yeah, so the height difference here is enormous.
5 foot even. This is 5 foot in her character sheet.
Yeah, so Tharok straight up has at least 2 feet on you.
Mm-hmm.
So you turn around and you're staring at his navel, basically.
He'll just kind of look at the two nerds and kind of give them You're a nerd look. So you're the one that all this hype is about.
I think fire is what all this hype is about, as you say.
I'll just kind of look around the room. I think he would clock Dro. He would look for your friends. Yes, but they seem more worried about you in the moment. Especially that one. Point. Or kind of motion over to Dro.
He tends to care a lot. Not more than most.
Just kind of look at him. I can respect that. I'm just going to be blunt here. Your friend said you had, how do I put it, a partner traveling, I think he said within you?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, that will have to be more clearly defined. What context did he say this partner was? He was there. There were a few in there for a while.
Okay, that's weird. No, he did some magic shit in his hands and it showed it looked to be a tree person.
Ah, yes, look. He is dead. I made sure of that.
He just kind of stops. Huh. You're positive.
The spell at the end of the fight, the one that killed me, completely destroyed everything within me. It was cast at that point because I knew he was taking over, and if he got strong enough, he would separate. He was still at my mercy, bound to this body, when he was destroyed within me. And he is not back. He did not come back with me. Unless another summoned him elsewhere, he is not back here.
But you came back.
Yes. Through some incredibly powerful magics, and this body had to be rebuilt through that magic.
I'm not gonna act like I understood half of that. Where did you originally find him? Yeah, I don't even remember.
Patchouli? I don't know. What was that place called?
Paishan.
Paishan. We found him in the ruins of Paishan. The last living thing there, save the magical beings he was consuming. When his physical form was sundered and he became a part of me, Paishan was removed from Aeon, recalled.
Two questions for you, Morgan. One, do I even know what that place is?
Go ahead and give me a history check. Chances are low.
You know what, let's just Where's his token? Oh, he's over here.
I moved you guys kind of to your own spot.
Yeah, that's about right. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Lots of low single-digit rolls from you guys today already.
2. How do I word this? The previous stuff that he's encountered before. None were living. Right? His whole reason for travel, what he's doing.
Right. Sorry. I thought you were still talking, Margo. Was that a question for me?
Yeah.
Okay. Repeat it, please.
How many items? The 3 encounters he's had.
Mhm.
While he's traveling. None of those have been living, correct?
Those.
I guess a better question is this one is living? Is this the first?
So, this is the first time you've heard of one that is sentient.
Okay.
The others were living to a degree,
Right.
and even your original was living
Right.
to a degree, even though it was dead-ish. There's a lot of dead-ish going on around here lately.
Yeah, I'm just now thinking of everything we talked about and how it's ironic. Lost my train of thought. Okay, so he has no clue what this place is. Margo just said.
That's correct. Yeah, no clue.
This lock, you said,
Yes.
from what I understood of all the magic talk of going on, said he lent you power.
He did, yes.
And you say he's gone. So is that power also gone?
I feel the power he lent me is gone, but whatever power remains in me, it feels wrong. It does not feel like the magic I wielded before. It does not feel like his, though.
While this conversation's going on, Morgan, is said things we talked about, do I sense anything off? Like, are
About
they,
your rate.
yeah, are they reacting or anything?
Give me an insight check here.
Oh, I need Dro's insight. Apparently I
That's
don't.
not bad.
Apparently I don't.
Not bad. Oh, that was investigation.
What did I roll on the die? 16?
16.
It would be the same.
Okay, sounds good. You're not entirely sure. This could be like confirmation bias. Since you saw it, you're not entirely sure if you're trying to convince yourself subconsciously like that this is something there, or if you can feel something. You're getting like an I don't know from it overall. Like maybe an echo, but maybe you're making it up.
There would be a very awkward long pause of him just kind of staring at you.
I don't think she would really register that because when you've lived alone with just one person for years, there's a lot of long silent pauses.
Just out of curiosity, this whole plan to take back Aurora's Rest and going back up there, what do you, I guess, what is your thought about possibly still finding some sort of remains or whatever of this lock?
I do not believe it is possible. As I said, the spell used completely destroyed the body. But if I did find any echo of him, I would send him straight to the hells.
So, this lock, by you describe him, sounds like there is pure evil.
It's hard to define him as evil. He was relentless need, hunger, craving for magic and power. He was consuming my body and the magics around it, but it did not feel as though it was done out of evil or malicious intent, only that he embodied pure craving and desire, pure hunger and need. So yes, to us we might define that as evil by our moral standings, but I think he was baser interest.
This power, you speak of as if it's his, that it can be used to get stronger. But you're the one that's used it. Do you think it could be used as the opposite? For something good?
I think the problem with such power, especially when bargained for, is that it comes at the cost of the terms of the agreements. So yes, I could, and I believe in several circumstances did use it for good. But the cost was exponential. He, in the end, helped me to close the portal, and he would have consumed me and consumed Aurora's Rest had I not destroyed him there.
So, what it sounds like to me, and if I'm wrong, okay. He's a bad guy with a lot of power and didn't use it the right way. But if there was a way to, say, take the power from him and leave him with nothing, you think that power could be used for good?
I think that power is corruption at its basis. I do not think that power could be used for good, but that it would turn any who touch it. What I do believe is that his kind are not singular. He is not the only one. He showed me glimpses and echoes of others. He was corrupted, rotted, hungry, but he was the foundation of a world tree. And if there are more, perhaps there are ones of good, pure intentions, pure magics, that their magic could be used for good. I do not think Locke is the way, but perhaps there are others like him in the world.
That I can agree with you, and confidently agree with there is good in that power. I think it's the individual that uses that power, even if they are a tree man. But it sounds like when you died, it's still really weird to see you standing here. Any trace of that magic connection, whatever, is no longer connected to you.
Everything I was destroyed when I died. My connection to him, my connection to my brother. It was all gone. That's why now my magic feels wrong, and I don't know why. It doesn't feel wrong as if evil or dark, it just feels foreign.
Unfamiliar.
Yes.
First off, I'm sorry about your brother. I know family is a tough thing to lose. I'll just kind of stop. He's just been like sizing you up, basically. Well, I know you have probably learned how things work around here, and I imagine you've heard about the trials. Your friend over there, and he'll kind of look where Yaslin was, and is no longer there, and just kind of look around. She did pretty well against me. Still a thing or two to learn, but I'm curious to see what you're capable of. Your companions seem to talk very highly of your abilities. And from what little I know about these graphs, never heard of anyone closing one.
Well, I've been at war for several years, even though it appears only a few days have passed here. So I have no doubt in my capability.
He glances out the window when you say 7 years, like, what?
I do, however, doubt my ability for restraint.
Restraints are for the boring. I mean,
We shall, I suppose, learn what this new magic is then.
wait. You're saying you don't know what your magic does?
I have a hope that it has not changed so much as I think it has, but... And she's gonna kind of just do prestidigitation, and the magic, it does what prestidigitation is supposed to do. It like creates a like gentle fragrance, like flowers, whatever. But her magic starts to like arc and pulse, like almost electricity, like kaleidoscopic electricity around her very briefly, and she like extinguishes the spell. That did not happen before. And I don't know what it means.
You say that didn't happen before. You talking the flowers, which, keep in mind, were actually quite nice and reminded me of home, or the little shocky thing?
The shocks.
Well, this is going to be an interesting trial.
For both of us.
Just out of curiosity, you don't happen to, have magic to make people cannibals, do you? Metaphorically.
I don't believe so, but I suppose at this point anything's possible.
Can I roll an insight to see how sure she is about that?
You don't even need to. Your passive insight.
You know, she's not even trying to hide it.
Yeah, she's confused. Like,
That wasn't even a
Girl.
consideration for her. Like, what?
girl woke up from death like today, or I guess it was yesterday,
Last night.
late last night.
Okay, so note to self, keep sword out and ready. Okay.
Yes.
He's gonna look over at Luneth. How much do you know about your new companions?
Well, very little. As you know, I was brought back last night. And as I was brought back, that young child was screaming about how I got her killed, so I haven't really spoken to her much about that yet.
That's harsh.
It's war.
She is, from what I picked up, yes, she's dead. He kind of just looks around the room, probably now questioning who else here is dead.
Wait till I meet Seamus.
Oh no.
Seamus is a little dead inside sometimes, maybe.
Her trial was unusual. I don't fully understand this magic stuff, but I do know she is very capable. With some training. From very far away. And your other...
Well, if you ask Dro, it's best to stay far away from me as well. You don't like fire.
He just kind of looks at Dro. Looks at her. Are you with the fire elemental?
No.
Just stares
It's a
you down.
Very, very effective spell.
Or you can just hit stuff really hard. That works too. And you can ask your friend, who is not in here for some reason.
She kind of like puts her hands on her hips and looks herself up and down like, I can hit stuff hard, are you serious?
I bet you're capable, but I don't think you hitting me would do anything.
Which is why I have spells like Fireball.
He just kind of looks at Dro. That's fair. Please don't throw that at me.
Said
Okay.
every one of Q's characters ever.
It's always me. Who else is still in the room? Cressida is in the room, right?
Cressida's with Luna, yeah.
Haru's
And
still,
Haru.
and Haru's still in the room.
And
Being
Yeah, I think-
wallflower.
I think poor little Lunith is probably being like fire hosed by the two magic nerds. And like they're so excited to like help teach her magic, and Lunith is like, I don't know, probably stunned.
Yeah, I think of when you kind of get cornered, like you're a kid or you're a teenager or something, you're like on your way to class or going to Kroger or something, and you get cornered by one of the adults, and you ask them like a question like, "Oh, how was your day?" And then they just start going off on like every single thing that has happened since they woke up in the morning, and you're like, "I was just saying that so you'd say fine and we could walk away." Shit. That wasn't meant to start the conversation. That's kind of the awkwardness that Ludith is feeling there. She's like, uh-huh. Okay.
Tharok would just kind of look over Margo at her. Yeah, I kind of understand how she feels. The other two, one very magic-y elven woman who I feel like is harassing that child. And then the other one, Haru, is she with them or is she still in the room but elsewhere?
Kind of.
Corner pixie doing her thing.
She's just kind of like, she's standing there very unobtrusively existing.
Wallflower does as Wallflower does.
Wallflower is as Wallflower does. Exactly.
Just out of what I figured the dice would do a roll perception to see, and it was like 24.
If you want to know, she's naturally somebody. It's quite stealthy.
Is she hiding?
No, she's not
Okay.
hiding.
Cool. This is gonna make this really great because the dice hate me. And he'll kind of look over for Haru. Then the one over there being socially awkward. Is interesting. No weapon visible, and she seemed to go invisible. I don't know what she can do, but it looks cool. And I already told you about the claw lady, which first that I've ever seen. And then Speedy Boy over there. Margo, they really do care about you. And so he's gonna put his hand on your head. So this time, stay alive. And he's just gonna ruffle your hair and just walk off.
Oh my gosh.
She just looks confused at that.
And he's gonna, as he starts walking off, kind of take a double take back for a minute. In try to be stealthy about it, but doing it horribly. He rolled 11. Look down at his bracers as he walks off after taking a double take.
So she's just gonna note that.
I think he just walk over to like probably Ingen or SMS, have a and just talk about what the next plan is. This two-way assault, whatever. But
Sounds good. Okay.
Oh,
I'm excited for this.
I'm not.
Real quick, I'm gonna detour, possibly. So I would like a rollies between Troy and Lily now.
Ugh. Maybe I can delay the inevitable even
You might be able to delay this a little bit. Let's see if
Okay, delayed! Let's go!
okay, cool. Mostly because I want to get Troy into the game. We're gonna time skip slightly, and Yaslin, your conversation with your Tolney friends will be backtracked slightly.
All good.
But let's get ourselves over to kind of as the conference room kind of starts winding down. It's a few hours later, and the TLDR is you just got a massive ass chewing from your Tolney friends, for context for Yaslin, and you guys have Seamus in the room. It's the first time you've seen him in a couple of weeks. For most of you, especially Margo, feels like it's been forever. So let me activate the new.
In years, buddy. Yeah.
And is anybody else in there? Does Warden come along? Do any of the new characters come along, or is everybody keeping out?
Honestly, I think that both Warden and Lunith would kind of stick with the group for completely separate reasons.
Cressida's staying with Luna because she thinks that whatever her fellow leaders of Aurora's Rest are up to, they can handle it themselves. What needs to happen is this child needs to be taken care of, and the group that potentially is going to actually save Aurora's Rest probably needs her help.
Right. Cast a word kill accidentally.
You might, which is why she needs to stay within 60 feet of you at all times.
Right? It's like a reverse. It's like a reverse restraining order.
You did cause people to try to eat each other.
Yeah, well, you know what? She shouldn't have knocked me in my ass. I'm a teenager. I get emotional.
Yeah, Cressida, you heard previously that there was a group that was kind of representing Aurora's Rest and what leadership remnants there were at this particular pyramid. And you kind of made a comment and be like, hey, aren't I a part of this? And you're like, yeah, you have as much say as I do, but you weren't really there. And it kind of makes sense. I don't think
she
the
never really
politicking...
was that person. Her wife went to all the council meetings and did all of this stuff.
Yeah.
And she was running the charity and running the soup kitchen. And she's like, I'm actually out with the people of the Aurora's Rest making a difference while you guys sit on your ass. That was her take on it.
Yeah. The high level politicking isn't really not her game. So it makes sense to just be like, yeah, you guys talk about it, whatever. Oh. Alright. So Ingen walks into the room.
Margo's token.
What's that?
Margo's token.
Margo's token. Got it. So Ingen kind of walks you all to the room. You're like, this is one of the areas that you can stretch your legs, do a bit of training if you want. Let me know if you have anybody in mind that you want to have join you. The tactics will be developed at a high level over the next couple of days. We'd love some of your input, but for now, we have some details behind the scenes to start working through. But Mr. Black, welcome. Take some time to catch up. What crack? We keep pretty good maintenance on our facilities. I don't think I've seen a crack in this room.
No, just how's your day been? That's all I was asking.
Oh, apologies. Well, ever since all these people that showed up, I think I've slept about 3 hours. So I'm a little tired, and hoping we can get something done here soon.
Do you want help with that? I have a spell that can help you be fully rested in a matter of minutes.
He looks at you incredibly suspiciously,
So does Dro.
That sounds delightful.
Dro's gonna... I know, Dro's gonna lean over to Yaslin. What
Perhaps
is this?
not fully rested, but better than you are.
Yes, I will absolutely take you up on that. Magical coffee, why not?
this is not the day we did that, so she would have long rested. I don't think it's what he's expecting. She's gonna cast catnap on him.
Remind me,
So he falls
10 minutes
asleep for
becomes a
10
short
minutes
rest?
on the spot, and he gets a short rest. All the benefits of a short rest.
All right, he just kind of leans behind like one of these monitors and like just slumps down with his bow, kind of like tucked in.
He'll be fine.
And-
Just give him a couple minutes.
And he's out. Yeah, he looks at you like he's like really not going to, and it's like, yeah, sure, why not?
Did you do to him?
I offered him the ability to rest. It's not a
You can
full
do
rest.
that?
I can if it takes a portion of my magic, but yeah, it's not that hard.
Yaslin, I used to do that. I did it to you.
When?
Wait, why did I just go Tharok? Oh, scratch that. No, I didn't.
Welcome to my pain of keeping
I
track
know.
of what voice is like coming out of my mouth at what time.
It's a very useful spell, and it'll absolutely be useful once we're in the thick of it. There's much I can do. Remember, I told you my magic focuses on banes and buffs.
Wait, you said it's beneficial in the thick of it. You plan to put us to sleep in the
not
middle of
the
a fight?
thick of it. If you have like 10 minutes of security, it can be very beneficial.
Oh, right. Yep, that's what I meant.
Would you be able to just cast it on somebody as they're standing, I don't know, on top of a tower at the edge of a ledge, keeping a graft open?
No, unfortunately, they must be willing creatures.
How loose is the term willing in your
Thank you. Dro wouldn't say that, but Tharok would.
Yaslin totally would though, because she's like, if I could force someone to be willing through intimidation means.
Magic is very clear on intention and coercion.
He
But
looks. Dro looks at
mine's
Seamus
not
and Margo.
difficult to define. At least magically.
Okay. Well,
This-
I don't know your magic mumbo jumbo, so I'll just take your word for it.
So how long is he gonna be like that?
10 minutes.
So we're just gonna
Do we
stand
need-
here for like 10 minutes and wait on
I
him
was
to
like,
wake
do we
up.
need
Oh, you
him?
can talk. He's asleep. He won't recognize it.
Why?
Isn't he the person we need in here right now?
He just gave you permission to just like, hey, catch up with your buddy, and then we'll do the evals afterwards.
Oh, so I need to take a short rest for Margo. Or a long rest for Margo because it's the next day.
Just look at him.
Oh, do we actually have it? Has it actually been a day for our characters?
Since when?
Since
He
the
arrived.
trial.
Trials.
Oh yeah,
2
yeah,
days.
yes, yes.
Give me that
Yeah,
long rest.
with the exception of like any social spells or abilities that you've used, everybody should be topped off.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Margo's gonna look over at Seamus, and I think it's notable to everyone, like, before she was always put together. She was a little princess, sorry. She was always put together. She always looked pretty. Her hair's a mess. It's been a mess since you brought her back. Her outfit's just, like, on, but it's not like there's no attention to detail anymore. She's just kind of there. And her eyes are, like, very hollow. It is not... She does not look like the woman you left a couple weeks ago. She has changed.
I see you've got some new faces to the group, and some of you look a little worse for the wear, but glad to see you all again.
Seamus?
Sounds like you guys are headed after some kind of device or something.
Yeah.
Yes.
A wizard in Aurora's Rest who studied the crafts. had a device that, from what I understood, has the capability of being able to track where graphs are.
That sounds pretty useful.
Yeah, it's ironically the device that we saw of the same graph that the invasion came through. So, similar to kind of a briefing I hope they sent you, there's a few of us that plan to sneak into Aurora's Rest with the help of Cressida here, who is also one of those high and mighty wizards of the city.
Point in case real quick. Or the verbiage, the invasion came through the graft. That's not quite accurate. They had sleepers, essentially, Troy, they had sleeper
true,
cells
yeah.
waiting in the city, and they waited for a fire-attuned graft to open, and then they kind of like bolstered it and expanded it, kind of similar to what they were trying to do in the mountain. And they used it to kind of bring in new reinforcements that were fire-attuned, and they were controlling them. While their agents that they already had in the city started running amok and creating chaos.
So what he said. She thinks that she can teleport us to one of the towers there. Preferably Hasports, where the device is. But you know how our luck is. While another group plans to do a frontal attack as more of a distraction for the theft.
What's your timeline for this?
I remember
The
correctly.
timeline, I believe, is once we identify a teleportation circle, which
So
I should be
couple
working on right now.
Yo,
I'm
do
just
you need
going
me
to
to
Lunith.
go?
No. I can just teach Lunith how to do it. We're going to. Do you want to learn how to do teleportation circles?
That takes me from one place to another, I assume?
It could, but you have to know the circle on the other side. So we're just going to attest a few to see if there's any connection, and then
Oh.
sever it immediately.
Well, so it's like shapes and stuff.
Yes, you might be quite familiar with it from your cult. It's a lot of sigils and.
Well, I do pick up on that stuff pretty quickly. And well, when we were in the arena thing, I did step into shadows and reappear somewhere else after like making a door a shadow-looking thing. So maybe I can already do that. Sure, I'll go learn. Why not?
Awesome. Let's see. And then she's just pulling Lunith aside, completely forgetting the conversation she was just having. And then for the next 30 minutes, she's gonna test 3 different teleportation circles because I can do it 3 times.
You're doing this as a ritual cast, right?
I don't think you can
Oh no, it's just a 10-minute.
You can't
it's just
ritual cast.
No,
No,
it's,
just a 10-minute.
it's just
It's
a
a
10-minute
10-minute spell.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, I believe there is a cost component to it, right?
Yeah, let me look at that.
So make sure you take that off. And
It is. Rare inks, 50 gold, but so I'll just take it. Yeah, that's 150 gold out.
okay, cool. And then, well, just real quick, give me an Arcana check for each one of those. And this is essentially you're doing this as stealthily as you can. Nice.
Not as great.
Not as great, but you're a high-level wizard, so checks out.
Not as great.
Not as great, but you're still a high-level wizard. Okay. Gotcha. I'll do some.
And Cressida pulls Lunith away after just rambling on about all this. Joe's just gonna peek his head towards Margo. I'm sorry with leaving you with them.
fine. I met your friend. I guess Yaslin's friend, the Rock.
My
He
friend?
informed me that you beat the shit out of each other, so I think that constitutes as friendship for you.
I'm a little more complex than that. But it was fun.
And Yaslin's not looking. Dro's like staring at her, like really. The minute she turns and looks, he's looking towards Seamus. Anyways, so Seamus, when they mentioned a stealth operation, who better?
Happy to help with something like that for sure. I also have a lead that I wanted to talk to the soldiers about.
I think we got some time.
Whom, by the way, how many soldiers are there now?
I think that number's undefined as of yet.
Yeah, kind of the one standing right here, or for sure. Kind of glances over at the two in the back. To be determined. There was another one somewhere, but I don't know where she is. She's a quiet one. Kind of creepily quiet.
Well, do let me know if we've added some new members. We'll have to revise some of the contracting to cover.
Oh my gosh,
I
so
forgot.
classic Shane.
I forgot.
I've missed this.
Oh, Troy, you've been in the scene for like 5 minutes. Go ahead and take inspiration already.
Charles gonna take a second to think about it and then realize. Right, the contract. Yeah.
We've had a few expenses, but mostly we're in the profit right now. I've been making some expansions. It feels like it's been a donkey years, but it's only been a couple of weeks. But I've been making some progress. But
For you.
what was that now?
Oh, how I have missed this.
Oh.
Right. Well, as everyone gets all sappy and sad and nostalgic and all of that, hello! I am Warden, or rather the person formerly known as Warden. I'm now Protector. I am the Champion of Air. And, as you can see, I'm quite sober. Yes, after yesterday's fiasco, I decided it would probably be good to keep my head out of a toilet for a little bit. I am a sniper, and I am a pilot. You mentioned something about business. I'm a little bit of a small business owner myself. I fly my ship, do a little bit of mostly legal transportation here and there, and I feel like that's the quick spiel. I've heard that you existed, but I'll be honest, most people have not talked about you very much. To be fair, we've really not had time because, arresting, fires burning, court trials, dying, yes, that one's in there too.
I'm gonna lean in next to Dro and just whisper, "Did he hit his head?"
Possibly, but he's not wrong about any of that.
Oop.
Does he remember that I was there when we hired him?
Just turns and looks at Protector.
He wasn't.
I don't think he was sober.
I don't think he's. I think there was only one time when he was sober.
To be fair, Seamus, remember he also jumped out the window that I did. So probably yes, hit his head pretty hard.
It's a pleasure to meet you there, Protector. You've got quite a resume. I'm glad to have you as part of the the Soldiers of Aeon.
Oh my god!
He steps forward and, reaches out his big blue hands.
Which one of these do I shake?
Two of the hands go down, leaving only his top right hand up.
I awkwardly high-five it.
Good enough. Well, it is great to see you. I'm glad that there's more of us out and about.
Indeed. And, I'm sure they will be making use of that ship of yours.
Yes, we'll see what happens with the whole teleportation circle thing, but most likely I will be transporting us and a considerable amount of other people around. I don't know where around is yet, but around.
What kind of cargo weight can you carry in something like that?
Oh, no.
How comfortable do you want to be?
I personally would like a pretty nice cabin, but I'm trying to figure out how much it can haul.
I just want to know when Ward Protector says how comfortable you want to be, Dro glances at Margo.
I think she's
The woman who wanted the most expensive rooms and
Oh, she's looking she looks frustrated and agitated that she's not doing something. She's once again sitting in a room. So she's starting to like fidget and tap her foot and pace a little, and she looks tense.
Dro's just gonna walk next to you and kind of put his hand on your shoulder while these two talk.
Well, you see, there are quite a few rooms. There's one room that is mine and only mine. Never go in that one. That's one of the rules. Never go in that one. And then there are other rooms. Now, there are places to sleep on couches and in other areas. There's only one other room that only has one bed in it, and the other rooms have multiple beds in there for multiple people. Additionally, my ship is known for transporting cargo, so there is a lot of space, but not for giant things. If that makes sense. Like, I wouldn't be able to fit a small elephant in there. But I would be able to fit a... I don't know, rhinoceros?
Let's say I had several hundred arms that I needed to have.
You're talking munitions, not
Exactly.
like actual severed arms. Well, that sounds mildly dangerous to have a whole bunch of weapons lying around, but I would most certainly be able to carry a couple hundred arms. Right now, we're relatively empty on the whole cargo thing.
We'll have to talk about the details at some point, but I have need for some additional shipping. But that's not the lead I wanted to talk to you about. It actually does have to do with another ship, though. Do you remember the wall breaker?
I would have to roll for that. Unless I would remember that off the top of my head.
I'm looking at the rest of the group when I say that.
I was gonna say, I don't think we're talking the one.
You weren't there for this event, Warden.
Okay, so it is.
Correct.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if that had come from the
Is this
same
the ship
area.
that can't be found?
Yes.
Dro would look as Seamus. You're talking the one where I got, and they'll tap his forehead.
That's the one. Do you remember some of the passengers that were on that ship?
The ones that tried to kill us?
The one that wasn't there, actually.
Hmm.
Oh?
Yes.
The sun.
His name was Sidious.
Mhm.
He wore a claw or a tooth around his neck. The captain of the ship wanted us to look for him, hunt him down, take him out.
I got a feeling I know where this is going, and I don't know if I'm gonna like it, but
I've been trying to figure out where Nora went, what happened to her, and it seems these tales are crossed. I believe that Sidious is a Lycan. An Alpha, actually. And I believe that he carries a frost with him. Something capable of shifting the seasons of Aeon. And the storm's been moving around. I think it's currently to the south. South Bordea. Not too far from the city of Dent. Would the soldiers be willing to go with me on a hunt?
We still have the quarry, we have fire, we have...
Now? Just how... We're... It almost feels like we're fighting too many battles.
I don't want to take you away from what you're doing now. But in the near future, before the trail goes cold again,
Seamus, you've had our back many times and saved our asses many times. And look at the girls. I think once this operation of getting Hasport's device, I don't think immediate action is going to be taken after, based off of how they talked. I know we talked about trying to get allies and travel here and there, the Air Temple, the Tolney Forest, the Guild of Knowledge to get allies. What's one more stop for a hunt, and let alone we're in the city of hunters. Some of them I think would be eager to jump on that. I know the two big individuals who seem to really enjoy fighting would be interested, I would imagine. And Seamus, you said this crosses path with Nora. She's been there and helped us, so I don't want to speak for everybody, but I'm aboard.
How close would this take us to the Tolney Forest? You said it was in the south.
Remember,
I'm sorry, what was that?
southwest, ain't it?
So
Yeah, the top versus south.
I really do need to get around to making the full map here, so sorry guys. Bordea, both the north and the south combined, is roughly shaped kind of like a crooked backwards J.
Mm-hmm.
Thorak, you're from where the J starts to hook around, like that first start of the curvature. Dent is essentially at the tip of the J on the bottom. Aurora's Rest is at the top, and then plenty of stuff in between.
Yeah, I have this old map that I was working on for you, and they are complete opposite areas of the south. One southwest,
Yeah.
one southeast.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, so Tolney is like right before it starts to curve. Tolney is like kind of the southernmost section before the curve starts to happen in the big backwards J shape. So Tolney is technically a little bit north and east of Dent, but it's not too far away. we're talking rough. Oh shoot, I don't know my geography well enough. One moment.
Close enough to do like a detour though, on the way to Dent.
Kind of, yeah.
I
Like we're talking.
I can wait to go back up if we need to.
Oh, don't
Well-
worry. Dro has a conversation with Yaslin still to come about that.
Mhm.
Was that in character or was that
That was
player?
above board.
Yaslin-
That was above board.
No, like if
Oh, I meant for
if,
Lily.
if Dro asked like, oh, if Dro asked like, is that on the way to the Tawny? Yaslin would say like, if the trail is more important, we can make a detour back up to the Tawny.
Gosh dang it.
Around. Be
I
like a
am.
circle.
I'm gonna look around the room. It's just. Oh, is today the day we're doing the fighting?
Yes.
Okay.
So for
So I'm not-
geographical reference, the going from Tolney to Dent is a little bit like the distance between like India and the Middle East. There's a body of water in between, and there's more land to this that kind of hooks around the bottom, but it's about that distant. With the flying ship, it's not that bad. On foot, it sucks.
Shit, we're gonna fight. Do we know how long until the fight?
Yeah. Ingen, before you gave him catnap, just said that he would kind of loosely get you started after you were done kind of catching up with Seamus.
So if I did something now that lasts an hour, would it still be active during the fight?
Probably.
Okay. Margo's gonna trigger her true sight because she wants to look around and make sure they're not being watched.
Give me a perception check. I almost called it observation check for some reason.
Well,
That kind of checks out. Margo's not necessarily all there yet.
mhm.
She's still feeling groggy from her death nap.
So everything looks good. Cool.
Um,
Uh,
you do see a surprising amount. I mean, this is all like a technology base here. Everything seems, and being from the Empire, you have come across technological locations before. Your people are much more spiritual and more removed from that vibe. But you know it, you've seen it before. You do see that the whole place kind of gently glows with various magics, mostly transmutation and abjuration. Like the base itself has low-key magic kind of running through it.
okay. I think that's enough of a reason for not to trust to say this out loud. Who does she talk to first? Probably Dro, because Dro would be. Yaslin might not understand it, and Seamus has been gone for too long, and she's not sure Warden is sober.
So valid.
Very true.
You hear in your head, Dro,
Oh Jesus, here
what
we
I
go.
said during the council meeting was true. I can open grafts. I was just informed not to make that public knowledge because it could make me into a desired weapon. A sorcerer who can open grafts would be hunted for that gift.
When you say being used as a weapon, Dro's hand's still on your shoulder and it kind of squeezes a little bit.
But I can. It will take practice, but I can do it. I don't know how well I can direct it, but if I can open it to different planes, I may be able to open it across lands. I don't know, though. I would need to practice, and practicing would draw attention.
I agree, but this might not be a bad place to find somebody to teach you. As much as I hate to say it, that guy that seemed very interested in it. I'll kind of glance over at Cressida. Cressida actually fought him in the trial. He might have a better understanding. And if I'm guessing he's the one told you to keep on the down lows, that at least speaks to his character.
He did. But she's gonna say this out loud now. There's something wrong with my magic.
Lunith perks up at that.
I think Cressida perks up too.
She's like, Soul Sister!
Oh my gosh, we're both screwed up. Yes.
I'll hold her hand out towards Seamus because he's the spellcaster among this small group, and she's gonna just cast. Once again, it's just prestidigitation, and it's just a smell of like roses, but the same magic like sparks off of her. Like it's such a quick spark, like a static electricity at night, but it does spark. That's new. It feels
Yeah,
different. It doesn't feel like it should.
Definitely looks a little different than what I remember. Are your arms exposed, by the way?
Yes. Her tattoo is gone.
She has both
And
of
all
her arms.
signs of corruption are gone too.
Muted, Morgan.
Aw, that was a good one too. Said, and she has two hands that are both hers.
Yeah.
By the time she died, she had no hands.
Oh, damn.
One was
Corrupted by Locke, and then she cut the other one off when Locke was trying to corrupt it.
yeah, and so she had one hand that I think it was her right hand was like black and like the corrupted tree, like, and the other one was prosthetic, tinker prosthetic, whatever those things are called. Yeah, drawing a blank on that word.
Prosthetic.
Yeah, made of metal. She had a Winter Soldier hand.
Oh, yeah.
Part of you is at least looking a little better than when I last saw you, but part of you, and I don't mean any offense here, but you seem a little off.
As I'm sure you know, I died. But I didn't.
What a sentence.
I got better.
I got better. Oh my god.
I died, but I got better.
I didn't pass on. I was on the dream plane where you guys saved me from before. I was trapped there. But time worked differently there, so I have been there for years, fighting against the quarry when Dro pulled me out. Dro and Yaslin in this group.
So it has been a while for you.
It has been many years for me.
Well, in that case, you look great.
And you should know the spell cast on me. It was disintegrate. That's why they had to go to such lengths to bring me back. There was nothing left of me.
It's not something people usually come back from.
No. But I think that might be why my magic is wrong. Whatever I was as a Kalashtar before, whatever I had with Locke, all of that was destroyed. So whatever this is that I came back with, I don't know.
Did I hear that the rest of you have been going through some kind of fighting trials?
The city.
Well, they
works.
certainly had to. Mine was already done.
Is
Well, aren't
this your sensei again, Dro?
Thank God, no. It's a mystery opponent, and the city works on social status based off of how you perform in this trial, and based off that, you get different resources. Ironically, you say that Randar competed and is now the second highest. So let's add salt into the wound of that fight we won against.
To be fair, reading Randar, it was clear that he's had his ranking here for a very long time.
Yeah, there's a bone Joe wants to pick with him, but he doesn't want another beating.
The Guild of Knowledge was surprisingly lacking on any information about this area. I'm surprised we even had a portal here that said just a bunch of barbarians were living over this way.
Well, we came here aboard Protector's ship. A lot of the refugees from Aurora's Rest are here, mostly. Portal, there probably is one. But
No, there's one. I took it here. Hadn't been used in quite some time.
Joe looks at Ingen for a
If you
minute.
came through a portal, then what is Cressida doing over there?
That's just a one-way to the guild and back.
But you came in from Aurora's Rest at one point, so can it not be?
Came from the
used
Guild of
through the
Knowledge.
guild? Yeah, but you left Aurora's Rest to the Guild of Knowledge.
There's a portal in Aurora's Rest that goes to the Guild of Knowledge, and the Guild of Knowledge has portals all over the world.
So could
Exactly.
we
So
take the portal you took here back and the portal from there to Aurora's Rest?
Only guild members can go both ways through any portal.
this is an international war we are talking about fighting, and the guild does not want to assist.
It's not that the guild doesn't want to, it's the way that their portals are built. The guild is a unique place that has access to knowledge all over the world. These portals were meant for people to go to the library, to study and learn, and then to return to where they came from.
Could we get like a portal pass?
It doesn't work that way, but it sounds like we've got other means of transportation. You're working on portals right now. We've got a ship. We'll find a way there.
You hear Cresser from the corner. No luck so far. I'll keep trying.
No! Yes, I'm just frustrated. Scream.
Joe just looks over his shoulder at her.
But it sounds
Fine.
like Margo that you've got a trial maybe coming up here still. Is that right?
Yes, we both do. I was granted a leave from the trial and granted a temporary rank, but now I suppose I must prove that rank.
Yeah, you'll be fine, Margo.
It seems to me that you should make use of it to test as much of your magics as you can. Probably more important than finding out your rank is finding out what you can do or can't do.
To Seamus's point, Lilith over there kinda did the same thing. She doesn't know how to use her powers or what she's capable of. So, to Seamus's point, I agree with him. It's probably not a bad place to start. They seem very confident in being able to contain whatever you can dish out.
What if
Well, they
I'm
weren't
not-
able to contain a cannibal, so
We could
I'm
have
not
left
so
that
much
part out.
concerned about my ability. I'm not concerned about how strong my abilities are. I'm concerned about not being strong enough. That I've lost my magic.
You can
Not
still
completely,
cast-
but that I. If I am of no use to you, then
You feel
You'll always have
Dro's
your
grip
place.
tight, hard on your shoulder when you say you're no use to us.
Have you forgotten I've been half capacity combat fighting for the past week?
this isn't even my final form yet.
and
I'm
you
sure
could
my
have
final
taken
form is
me
a
down with
fiery
the swing of
bug.
an axe.
You don't want to see Yasmin's final form. It actually is gonna be so badass, but you don't want to. You don't want to see it. You know things gone really wrong if you see it.
I'm sure that you'll always have a use to the soldiers.
Margo, were you one of those magic people who had it like in their blood? Or were you one of those magic people who was like Cressida and read about it?
No, my power was innate. Most Kalashtar are innately magical.
Dro's gonna look over at Cressida when she says that and give her a look of Cressida talked bad on sorcerers. Margo
did.
just
Cressida
said
talked bad on warlocks.
Margo just said she's a sorcerer. So he's gonna look at Cressida and then look at Margo with this look of she deserves the power she has.
Cressida's
Some people are just born gifted.
Cressida's focused on her circle.
Well, I was merely bringing it up simply for the fact that if your entire body was disintegrated, and then you were thrust into the dreamlands, and then you were brought back from the dreamlands, how do we know that your body still has the magic within it?
Didn't she just cast like some fancy
Yeah.
little
I
trick?
did,
Right,
and I
but
cast
everyone can do a
shield
little
yesterday.
fancy-
No,
Which
I can't. I can't do those little flower tricks that you guys do.
I'm not even a mage, and I can cast magic.
Oh, well, good for you.
Kinda same.
senior casts.
Sounds like we need
I
to.
have magic. I just don't know how much.
Sounds like this trial is the right thing for you. Then we get through that. We get you through that. We find a way to get back to Aurora's Rest, track down this device, and then, if you're willing, maybe go on a hunt with me.
How long does it take to get to Den?
Depends on how we travel.
If it were by air.
Oh, I'd reckon some amount of time that will be shared with us in just a second.
Yes. Warden, give me a history check at advantage because,
I was gonna say it was like 4 days or something
or
to get
nature
to the
check.
forest from here.
Oh yeah,
which
if
one
we've
do
already
I
covered
want?
it, then yeah, cool. We'll go with that.
We'll go with this. Wow.
Wow.
Oh my
All right.
God.
Well.
Um,
Who the
sorry,
fuck is
I-
Dan?
I said,
Never
I said,
heard of it.
sorry, I changed my answer to nature check instead of history. No,
I thought you
excuse me.
said or.
I said history. Then I said nature. What I
Survival?
my brain right now. What I meant was survival because this is you tracking the airspace and whatnot. I think that's what we established a while ago.
Better. 22.
Okay, 22. Yeah, with the Gale not holding down a bunch of cargo, if it's just like essentially like a strike squad, yeah, 3 to 4 days.
Yeah, 3 to 4 days.
Aeon's a big planet, by the way.
I think the trail would still be warm by then.
I do.
Yeah, Seamus, based on the research and the history check that we did earlier, or the investigation check we did earlier, you think it's somewhere between like 2 to 4 weeks, maybe, until the pattern that you discovered changes.
We've got maybe 4 weeks tops. Sooner the better.
The Tolney can wait a little.
Sorry to delay.
Don't.
Above table. Did Yaslin have her chat before this?
There
No.
might be
Okay.
some information Yaslin needs that might be a little important to her time crunches.
Yeah. So we'll get to that conversation in a second as this wraps up. But all in all, she got majorly chewed out.
Yeah, she's like, I'm like not. She's like, we can delay going to the top.
Sure, I was just gonna look at Yaslin.
Like a scolded child who doesn't want to go to their room yet.
Yeah, she's like, it's fine.
Someone's in trouble.
I'll talk to you about it later.
Okay. At this point, Ingen starts to move, cracks his neck a little bit. Okay, honestly, that felt really good. Thank
It's been
you,
about 10 minutes.
Cressida.
You're welcome. Bad news. Hassport's teleportation circle is down. I will try mine next.
Got it.
Oh
Keep-
boy.
Coordinate with Barrick. Keep a running tab of what is and what isn't. In the meantime, I think we've got some bit of scouting to do for our 2 newer folk. Come on, it's not that bad.
Sure, just kind of looks at him.
It'll be fun. I had a lot of fun. I think you'll.
Tro leans over to Seamus. She hasn't said she had fun. That was scary to watch.
It's fun.
Do I need to do one of these?
Yeah, you too. It's doesn't mean you have to stay here. Just it establishes the respect factor so that people will actually listen to what the hell you say. Or if you're pretty shite, then they'll ignore you more. So, TBD.
And who's the top dog of the soldiers?
That girl right there.
Unofficially, based on Randar's recommendation, it's Margo.
For now. We'll see how I do in the trial.
Don't sell yourself short just yet.
If you
More.
still got half of what you used to have, that's still one more fireball than most people can take.
Tro just looks at Seamus.
So Ingen will start escorting everybody out of this kind of training room and over to a teleportation circle that will take you to kind of a trial arena. And the lot of you, it's a familiar sight, and for Margo and Seamus, you kind of open up and you come up on this kind of yellowy glassed window, kind of like this dark, like slanted metal that's very, very thick on both sides. And you look down, and it's essentially like the size of a crater that's like about the size of a football stadium is just like sunken into the rock around here, and everything is battle scarred. Like every inch of this thing has been beat up or burned or scorched or shocked or whatever. It's clear that they just keep coming here because it's convenient, so they don't have to like try to maintain more than one location. But we'll go ahead and take our break here, and we'll come back in a bit, and we'll probably have time for one, maybe two of the trials for the night. Okay. So you have some gatherers, like everybody kind of ends up in this tower that kind of like oversees this large, just rocky pit, like I described, and Ingen turns around and says, all right, which one of y'all is going first?
Haru is not.
I guess I could go first
Just to know.
Okay.
and get it out of the way.
Are there any rules to this thing?
Is there...
It's not a fight to the death. This is an evaluation of what your abilities are. It's basically, we're going to pit you up against somebody who we think, based on what we read from you so far, is suitable enough to your talents that we will get a good idea of what you can do. And that person will help us evaluate how they felt that you did, and then that'll determine your ranking within Allegory. And mind you, this is an initial ranking. Certain deeds, certain hunts, etc. Those will help upgrade your ranking over time as well. For example, Tharok here, he didn't start out where he's at. Currently he's looking at notes.
Scale.
He's a scale rank, but he started off down at Horn. And for those of you that don't know, there are 8 different rankings. They're all based off of the pieces of the greatest hunt somebody could come across, which would be, of course, a dragon. Spine being the lowest, then claw, horn, tail, scale, wing, breath, and heart. Each one of those has a higher level of access than the predecessor, a higher number of votes when decisions are being made, and a higher level of overall ability to take on certain quests, certain hunts. And most of all, the higher your rank is, the bigger the room you get to sit in, essentially. Now, take that same concept of those 8 rankings, then apply it to all of the pyramids, all the different chapters that you see. And when all the leaders of the chapters get together, we call that the book. And each member of the book has a different weighting ranking comparatively to their own pyramid that they run. For example, Gesimus being our leader, he's ranked breath, second to top. on a personal level, this is a wing level chapter, however. And over time, we'll continue to upgrade that, and we'll eventually enter into one of the rare areas that gets to be a heart chapter.
What time of day is it?
What's up?
What time of day is it?
That's a good question.
Can I fight at night? Is my question.
It is dark in here. Dro used that.
This pit is a little bit like removed from the light. It gets a lot of like angled shadows.
The time of day actually makes a difference.
What time is it at this point? Okay.
We just had a long rest, so.
Margo got woken up kind of mid-evening, and then you guys had some time to sleep. You reconvened for the conference in the morning. It's after the conference. Seamus, you probably came in a few hours later. So I'd say currently it's probably somewhere between like 11 and like 3 a.m. So it does happen to be night.
Is it outdoors?
Yes, it is.
Last question. Can I cast a spell before it begins?
I think that's a you question.
That's probably a yes.
Okay. So Margo, you were led over to the portion of this tall kind of tower that you're on, but it's actually like an elevator that goes down and kind of spits you out, same as the others when they took their trials. You come on down here, take your starting position, and you have a moment or two to kind of prep anything that you want.
Okay. Wait, hold on. 2025 feature. I'm trying to figure. Why is it not letting me see this? This lasts for 1 minute. I would be prepared to trigger my innate sorcery the moment I see the opponent.
Surprise.
Like a boss.
Opponent walks out invisible. Oh wait, you have
I
your
have
true
true
sight.
sight, yeah.
Yeah, you've got your true sight up. Okay. You wait, and the doors down at the other end, they begin to open. And, excuse me, from there, you start this... Oh, good song. From there, you start to see... They open up, and you kind of expect to see footfalls, and you don't. Instead, you see two pairs of light pink feet, ever so gradually floating above the ground. You see somebody who is essentially just in like a simple kind of like vest turned into like a long like skirt, almost tunic. You have pink, shimmery, almost translucent scales as well. And they just continue to kind of twirl their finger, and a dagger kind of spins above them. There's a few gems that rotate around them. All right, so you shall be my evaluee today. Feel free to prepare whatever you like. And let me know when you are ready to begin.
It didn't apply the effects. It's fine. I'll keep track of the effects. She just looks at him, them.
Kind of androgynous.
Okay, them. And nods. Like she's ready.
Excellent. I will give you the first move.
Oh, dear goodness.
Seems incredibly like nonchalant, relaxed. Just overall, just kind of hanging out vibe. You may
She's
begin.
going to quicken spell Mind Sliver. Come on. Forge, don't fuck with me. It's not doing what it's supposed to. There we go. So it should just make him roll, or do I have to click for it to roll first?
Oh, I have to select my character, and then I will make the saving throw.
Do the same.
Mm-hmm.
Really good damage from Mind Sliver.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I have my stuff on private. That was a 21 to save.
Okay, so it's half damage. Based off okay, so that was kind of a test to see like if they were more sorcery or wizardy or like what the deal is. But I guess my question would be like, what did she get from that? Because all of the rolls were hidden. Like, was that a high intelligence character? Was that a?
Oh yeah, you can tell like as you connected, like you felt like a very solid wall of like mental acuity, and it cuts off right immediately. So go ahead and so that's 15 points divided by 2. That's down by 7, and you see her kind of twitch, and that's about it.
Okay.
And doesn't take hardly any damage from it. You can immediately conclude she's resistant to psychic damage.
Touche.
Huh.
Margo's gonna step back 30 feet. And so you see, everyone sees her start to cast this spell, and you can see like lightning gather in the sky above, and lightning just starts to spark like Tesla coils off the wall. But you see her body starting to spark with that kaleidoscopic magic. She's gonna cast Chain Lightning on this guy.
All right, nice.
It's rolling.
Okay. Question though, are you quickening spell here, or what's the setup?
Quickened Mind Sliver. I already said I quickened Mind Sliver.
Okay, I missed that part. Okay, thank you.
So that's a dexterity saving throw. Also, as a point of note, I have my innate sorcery up. That's what I prepared. So my DC is actually 19, not 18.
Okay, nice. Okay, gotcha. You blast out your chain lightning, kind of like arcing out, and you see it like try to like move out of the way, and it seems like it's not going to move quick enough. And then you see, rather than its like floating ability, you see its body kind of shift over like it was dragged, like. And it's going to use its legendary resistance to automatically succeed instead. So I believe that's half damage.
Yep.
Okay, so that'll be 22. That's where I would do math and apply that. Ooh, not a one-trick pony. That's excellent. My turn. And they're going to fly they're gonna hover forward about 30 feet, and they're gonna take their dagger, and the dagger is going to like zip towards you and just, and it's going to do 3 different like moving blade attacks as it's like telekinetically kind of like dancing around you. So where is it? Here we go. Here's the first one. This is normal. How far away are you actually? 50. Okay. You backed up further than she was anticipating. So it's actually... Oh, shit. It's a disadvantage because of the long range. Oh, on the first one. The first one comes through and you
Except for using legendary resistance.
you time it properly and like you kind of dodge like and it kind of like sticks into the wall for a second, like vibrates and comes back out and comes for a second attack, but it won't get the third because of that one. All right. Let's go. That'll be a 16 to hit.
AC 17.
AC 17. All right. Not bad. Able to maneuver properly for magic wielder. Excellent. Okay. That'll be its turn.
Right? So say you wanted to see my power. And you see
Yes, please.
the ground starts to kind of rumble, and then there's a pillar of flame that shoots up around this character. This is not a fireball. This is
like a pillar, like a.
immolation.
Ooh, okay. Nice.
And it's DC 19 saving throw, because innate sorcery is still up.
That'll do it though. That's a dirty 20.
Yeah, it should be half damage still. Maybe damage. D6. Okay. That's a lot of ones. Holy fuck.
Wow.
1, 2, 3, 4. That's 5 ones.
That was very bad, and then that's halved after that. Oh, it applied the full amount, so I'm going to refund 14.
23. Oh, I'm sorry, 40. 23. Jesus.
Oh, wait a minute. No, how much did you hit me for the first time?
27.
So it was, I'm gonna put myself back to full health. It didn't do the math right, so.
Oh, so it's 44 the first time, which is down
Yep.
to 22.
Yeah.
And then 27 the second time, so down to 14.
Minus 13.
13.
Okay, gotcha. And you see it like kind of go up in flames, and it's like it's closed or starting to billow a little bit. You see kind of like a vibration of like mental energy surrounding it, and it just kind of like shakes off. Not bad. Truly
She's going
not
to
bad.
step farther back and cast Sorcerer's Burst.
Mhm.
Quicken spell Sorcerer's Burst. And because it's a sorcerer's spell, I technically have advantage, but that was an 18. Let's crit fish. Oh, that was almost crit. All right. Why didn't it roll the damage? Oh, there, a damage. I see. It's 28 to hit for.
Okay, so what does this one look like and do?
Something went wrong
Whoa.
with that. Something went very wrong.
Yeah.
No, it didn't. Wait, what happened with this?
What happened is
It's 8
there's
on a D8 for this
multiple.
spell.
There's multiple.
No, that was correct.
options.
That was correct. No, that wasn't. If you roll a D8 on the spell, you can re-roll. You can roll another D8 and add it to the damage. The maximum number of times you can do this to the spell's damage equals your spellcasting modifier, which is a 5. So I don't. Did you delete that message?
No, I didn't delete it. It's still there.
Oh, there it is. Because I
So
rolled a
it's trying to do all of those, but it doesn't understand the difference between like an effect, like roll a d8, and a damage d8. So for this one, just do it naturally.
It's still so it should still be 3d8 of damage, but I need to roll the d8 to determine which type of damage.
Yeah, and then you roll another d8 to see if it compounds.
No, so I just roll 1d8, and then if it's d8, it compounds. So it's a 3, so it's
You mean if
poison
it's an
damage,
8
right?
on a d8?
Yes, but since I rolled a 3, it doesn't compound, so it's just poison damage for 3d8.
Okay, go
So
ahead and
we
roll
roll
3d8 separately.
That was a lot better. 17.
Okay, 17. And that was an attack? Yeah, spell attack. Okay, gotcha. Excellent. And you see her kind of sitting there, like stretching, like doesn't seem to mind that she's getting like beaten up over here. All right, rapid spellcasting, different types, very versatile. And she's gonna look at you and be like, "How do you do on this?" And you see her, the hand that doesn't have the dagger reaches out and makes a grasping motion. And let's see here. Okay. And she's going to cast Big B's hand on you. I'm due to. Let's see here. This is the first time I've ever actually cast this spell, so apologies. Okay, so how does this actually work? The hand is going to like appear around you, and it looks like a kind of skeletal, pink, shiny version made out of crystals of her hand. It's going to come around you and like try to grasp you and grapple you. So, this is. So it is going to be a 23 to hit on the grapple check. And actually, that's an advantage. First one was better.
That's what the 2024 rules. That's.
Oh, nope. I'm looking at the 2023 rules, so let me. Oh, I really hope the new monster manual updates everything.
Yeah.
And gives monsters the spells from 2024. Because it's annoying to do it on everything else. It's annoying to open it.
I thought it was a contested check. Escaping the grapple is now.
The target must succeed on a dexterity saving throw, or the target has the grappled condition. Okay. So that is
and the
different.
dexterity is set by the DC is set
by my spellcasting.
Yeah, it would be by your spellcasting because you're casting a spell.
Okay. Gotcha.
Unless it specifies like that monster or spell sets the grapple condition in a different way.
No,
some monsters can initiate it by.
Nope. There's nothing. There's no special connection with the spell on this one.
All right. Dex check or a. Dexterity
Yep.
throw?
This is a Dex save.
I mean, I might still fail it, knowing me. I don't know.
Ooh, nope. Nope, you got it. So the hand kind of shows up and you see it kind of like curling around you. You'd have to like duck and kind of like roll off to the side for it not to get you. Okay. Okay, gotcha. All right, that'll be its turn. The hand is hovering next to you. Just put it there for a moment. And then this guy is going to this guy's going to scoot forward. And as an item interaction is going to reach into a bag of holding behind its, or like that's kind of like strapped to its back like a fanny pack style. It's going to toss a handful of ball bearings out in front of it. And that'll be its turn. Go ahead, Margo. You're up.
Let's see if this pays off again. Quicken Mind Sliver.
Okay.
Trying to get him to take that, or them to take that minus D4 on their next save. DC's 19 because of
Okay,
innate
that'll be a fail
sorcery.
then.
Okay, so they're gonna take 11 halved because they're resistant. But they have a minus D4 to their next save,
Okay, sounds good.
which they're smart. She's just gonna do immolation again. Another pillar of fire shoots up from beneath this guy.
Okay.
As
What's the
minus
height
D4
on this pillar,
goes.
by the way?
I don't know. Let's see. That's just, technically flame reads one creature you can see, so it's not exactly a pillar. I'm just flavoring it as a pillar. And the
Yeah,
last time she cast immolation, you saw those like kaleidoscopic sparks over her body again. And she seems to be straining under her magic with each spell she casts.
Got it. Okay. And inspirational bonus,
DC
minus
19, minus
1d4.
D4.
Oof. Yep, that will not do it. That'll be a 16.
No, what is that?
Ow.
Okay. Check your messages. Margo.
Also, yeah.
So I think, how many spells was that? That was...
Yeah, I'm keeping track. But
Okay,
it
cool,
doesn't
you're-
matter because of something else I just rolled. So as she like releases this pillar of fire, she kind of... Well, let's see. Let me see something else. Sorry, guys. 1 second.
There's some behind-the-scenes shenanigans happening with Margo now.
So as she casts that fire, you see the magic around her start to spark out of control, and she looks a bit panicked by it as she seems to be losing control of her magic. And there is a massive flash of light, and Margo's no longer on the map. She's disappeared for you don't know how long.
Okay.
I'll message you which effect I got.
Sounds good. And like through the second immolation, just
That's not what it
down on the ground, it just... Alright, I think I have what I need to know.
Margo's gone.
didn't really see where Margo went.
About 5 to 10 seconds later, Margo comes back, just right in
she,
the
like,
exact-
appears and then collapses to the knee, and she's almost like the sparks are still coming off of her slowly, but it's like she's almost smoking a little, like an overload, like an electrical overload.
Your opponent's gonna use the hands to kind of like give you like a there pat. I think I've seen what I need to see. You might need a little bit of help, dear.
What was that?
I know you need a lot of help then, if you are not even sure. Let's go back and sit with the others, shall we? Oh, I haven't felt this crispy in quite some time. And she kind of like stretches and cracks, and like some of her like scales are kind of like blackened and fall off. I'm like, I'll need to talk to Third about this. And that concludes Margo's go. As
While they're
y'all,
making their way back, I think Dro's gonna be like to the group up here before they're back. Does anybody know what just happened?
Would Cressida have rolled an Arcana check on that?
yes. Anybody? Cressida and I'd say Lunith could as well. As you guys are the ones that are actually magically inclined instead of just like kind of adjacent.
I hate my dice right now. Barak would chime in. I'm pretty sure she poofed and then reappeared.
Delphine.
I really wanted you
Yeah,
to say.
thanks for all that advice there, buddy.
I really wanted you to say repoofed. She poofed and repoofed.
Reboot?
Wait,
22 for Cressida.
what did
11 for Lunith.
what did
Oh,
Delphine
11 for
say?
Lunith. Cressida, you're...
She thanked him for his advice.
No problem.
Cressida, you've seen that before. One of the 24 has that.
Oh. I have to get her in touch with insert random generic wizard name here.
Mhm.
That's wild magic.
Coming up with an entire city of characters
Yeah.
is so crazy. But slowly, as we talk about things, like, sure, we'll just fill in the gaps as we go.
Yeah, she says, that's wild magic.
That's what?
Wild magic. It's often categorized as no control over magic, but it's an awesome amount of power that, well, is unconstrained.
So it's basically chaos.
Yes, in a sense, she is. Her magic is now an embodiment of chaos itself.
Oh, great! I've heard of this. Anybody know
She
the
would be
term?
insanely powerful.
Anybody know the term overtones? It refers to music. It's the process where you strike a chord on an instrument or you play a note, and that vibration also triggers other nearby notes in the air. This magic's like that.
Mm.
I have a kind of an estranged cousin.
Well, whatever it is, we're here to help her, aren't we? You're saying she didn't cast spells like this before?
You just like picking up strays?
That is kind of what we did at the Hearth of Hope.
Ah. Right. Okay. Carry on.
Okay. Why do I have two characters in here?
Yeah. Just another
Dro.
session or two, and then we'll Scooby Doo the different party members, and you'll only have to play one at a time.
Dro, concerned. She was capable of some pretty great magic and very well skilled at it. I don't think she's done anything like that before. Alright. Oh, go ahead.
It is interesting because most Kalashtar are defined by control and balance, and this is pure chaos.
I'm not gonna act like I have any understanding of what you're saying or anything that's coming out of your mouth, but what I understand is she's a bomb?
Potentially, it depends on how much power She has no control over when that excess magic is released, but if it is held within her long enough, who knows what havoc she could wreak.
So, again, not an expert, but most of the bombs that I've come in contact with, which are very few, are never good.
Well, I mean, did you see the spells she cast below? That's more damaging than most bombs are capable of regardless. Immolation is quite a high-level spell, and she just called lightning down from the sky to start.
He's just like, the more you talk, the more lost he's getting. Dro's just gonna chime in. Is this something she can learn to control?
Likely not. I've never seen a wild magic sorceress be able to actually control that wild magic.
He's going to look at
There's
Seamus
ways
and
to-
Aslan.
There's ways to harness the power, but it would be things such as anti-magic cuffs, completely blocking her magic, which would render her powerless. Or you could trust.
Right about that. That's the first sentence they hear as they exit the elevator.
Or you could... There are options if you want to.
Dro
prevent any
immediately puts his
potential
hand over your
bombs.
mouth.
She's still talking.
Arak is gonna look at Margo. You definitely live up to the hype that they've all been giving you.
As long as no one is near me. I don't know how damaging that could be.
He's gonna look at the what looks to be like a dragonborn. I mean, I think we got a pretty good idea. And if Dro could get to him without muffling Cressida, he would probably... No, he's going to be smart. Never mind. He would think about trying to do the same to him. But realizes, one, you can't. Two, that's stupid.
I'll make my full report by the afternoon.
I apologize. All that damage was intended as I thought that was part of the... That's not the right accent. Part of the game. This contest. Or whatever, trial. So, sorry. They did tell me not to hold back.
You did exactly what you were supposed to. I shouldn't have given you the first move. And they're looking very, very worse for wear.
I think as
She's
he
gonna
walks.
look at Ingen to try and... Is he looking at her? So her concern right now is she doesn't know who Koilak told about what she's capable of, and who, well, even she did say it out loud, like what she was capable of with creating a graph, number one. And now with the demonstration she just put on in the arena, she's trying to see if like people like Ingen are sizing her up for how useful she would be if they kept her as a weapon.
Give me
So
insight.
I guess an insight.
And if that Dragonborn walks by, I think Tharok would just smack him on the back as he walked on by. Like, good job.
Give me
21.
a strength check
Oh,
at
shit.
disadvantage.
Disadvantage?
You break
Yeah.
this poor guy's back.
Hey, Dice, I need you to roll bad for once. Oh my god, you said check?
Yeah, strength check.
Okay.
This is just your pure. This is your dice plus your strength stat, or plus your strength bonus.
Oh, okay, that's a 10.
10. Like smacks him. Ah! And like still hovering, like as you like slap him on the back, he just kind of like scoots forward about 3 feet.
He's scooting right.
Delphine's gonna step forward and just touch the Dragonborn's shoulder and look at Tharok like, really, dude, as she casts Cure Wounds.
Thank you.
She doesn't think she's fighting today. She'll do it at 3rd level because they look fucked up.
Yeah, they're bad.
That's pretty good. 20.
Okay. Oh, much appreciated. Thank you.
Of course. Gotta look out for our own here.
Yep. I gotta go lay down. And just like kind of like finds a corner and just like curls up, like kind of floating in like a ball as they like start to recover.
Is Cressida still
21
talking?
insight against Ingen.
Against Ingen.
Is Cressida still talking?
Oh. Hold on.
Oh yeah. She's actually like writing in her note. She's like writing in her notebook around your hand as she's
Like
thinking of all these like ideas of how to restrain the power, create anti-magic cuffs to debuff, because debuffing is part of her shit. Like, you have unlocked a TISM focus for her and she is all over it.
I swear, in the background, it's just a scene of Joe like slowly letting go. She starts talking, does it again.
So I'm laughing because Ingen, this would be like him keeping a poker face would be either performance or deception check. Both of them are a straight 0. I can't see what that dice is. Okay.
I can't even see it there.
Yeah, I don't know why it's like rolling way off screen for me today. You look at it and like with the 21, you just read that he's doing his job. Like he's like this is the box to tick that needs to be ticked today, and he's going to oversee it and he's going to do his job well, and he's going to leave all the annoying shit to other people. He is the boots on the ground soldier that gets shit done. He is not the schemer. So like if somebody is telling him to like pull the strings behind the curtain, he doesn't care. He personally has no interest in it.
She's gonna go over to Seamus and Cressida and Dro, because Dro is trying to silence Cressida. But Seamus and Cressida and Lunith, as the magic wielders of this group. I heard when they came off the lift, you can let her speak. Or just keep her like that. I'll say what I need to say first. It might be best to have whatever she's cooking up, those anti-magic cuffs, just in case. I don't know. They could be good to have.
Margo, give me
I
a
don't
wisdom
want to hurt
saving
you.
throw.
I like being a Kalistar.
I was gonna say at
They're always at advantages, thank fuck.
Before you rolled, I was gonna say at disadvantage.
Okay, well the first roll is an 11 on that. It says 11 and 1.
Okay.
So 17 total.
Okay, you like as you're talking about it, like there's a slight twitch in your like right eye. It's been a long time for you, but last time somebody put anti-magic cuffs on you, it didn't go well.
Oh yeah. It's been a couple years though.
It's been a couple of years. You're better. It doesn't sting as much. The memory's not as fresh. But there's still a mental twitch there.
They put all of
For
those
Troy's
cuffs on
background,
us.
that's when she cut off her arm.
Okay, so that's when all of us. Well,
Dro was
That's when we.
yeah,
Dro was very
Assassins.
close to being assassinated in prison.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
he
remember
was in
that.
prison.
And Margo cut off her hand to make the anti-magic cuff fall off of her wrist so that she could cast to save him. Hence
Yeah.
the prosthetic robot arm.
Oh, is that when she told Dro don't let him get the connection in the infirmary? And I thought Dro cut her.
No,
arm
that was
off.
before when they were trying to heal her, and that was when his magic started coming out to try to consume.
Oh yeah.
That was after that, but she cut it off at first to be able to cast to save you.
Yeah. Right. Now that that's done, Mr. Black, you're up. Same deal as previous. Go on down and take a position. Your opponent will be out momentarily.
Sounds good.
Okay, so Seamus, you go down. You stand out there on the other side of the ridge, and from that same elevator door, and you hear clickety, 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 and you see long, skinny legs with scales on them, followed by feathers. As a bird person begins to walk out, and the whole time is kind of like twitching their head and kind of looking at you, and kind of they continue to just like look at you, kind of like bob, and like they're just doing like all over like birdie sort of stuff, and they just keep coming up to you, and they start like circling around you, looking at you like, give me an insight check on this. Okay, one sec.
13 with my -1 modifier.
Yep. Okay. Okay. Have you ever come across an Aarakocra before?
Was there one in the Ripple Mids? There were a lot of like beastkin people there.
Rippletop. Oh, I don't think at Rippletop, but I think in the Temple of Water there was.
Okay.
Yeah, probably one up there. So you've seen them before, but it was like standing guard. It was pretty still. It was kind of just doing a stationary thing. And so this is the first time you've kind of seen them in action. You're like not entirely sure like what's going on here. And it just kind of like starts, it's not like being threatening towards you or anything. It's just kind of like moving around and like looks like it's dancing a little bit. How do you take all of this?
I think I'm playing it cool, just kind of keeping my eye on it as it's walking around me here. I'm alright with it.
Okay, sounds good.
I also like Seamus doesn't look like he's doing anything while this is happening, but I subtle cast a spell.
Okay, sounds good. Do. All right, cool. It just comes over me. So, you're the slippery one. They brought you in. for the thing? For the mission?
Something like that, yeah.
Alright. So what do you do? What are you good at?
Well, you're about to find out.
Yeah, I bet I am. And they're just kind of like grooving like the whole time. Let's see here.
Is there like a start signal or something around this?
It's like, oh, we already started. And like they turn and like they immediately like stop at the bird moves and they like, and you have 3 scorching rays like immediately fire out of its hands at you.
No roll initiative or anything? He just goes first?
I'll be straight up. I rolled a nat 20 on when you were trying to incite him. I rolled a nat 20 on the other side, so I am going to give him the first go.
Sounds good.
Okay, so Scorching Ray. That goes like this. Okay, gotcha. Oh, nope, not that. Okay, that's going to be, I forgot to add the modifier. That's going to be a 24 to hit on the first one.
That hits.
Yep. Okay. The next one
That
will
hits.
be a 21.
That also hits.
Okay, 25. Okay, so that is... $36. 36. And 2d6. So, wait, what? How do you cast a spell for create 1 additional rate? Oh, sorry, I gotta do, it's a 3rd level spell, so I gotta roll for 2 more attacks. I thought it was increasing the damage, but it's increasing the number of shots. That's a 21 to hit.
Yep.
For the 4th one. And the 5th one is an 11.
That's gonna miss.
Okay. Okay. So, question for you guys about this spell Hex. Does something like Scorching Rays that has different portions, does that trigger it every single time? I haven't actually used this before.
Yeah, it does because it works that way for Eldritch Blast.
Okay. Okay, cool. Okay, so let's see here. So Seamus, you take 5, 6, 4, 4. What is that math? You take 19 points of fire damage and 4d6 of...
Choose those. Those are some low rolls.
Yeah, they are. And you take 7 points of necrotic damage as it lashes out, as this fire like comes and hits you, and there's like a little blast. There's like shadow that like comes in and like kind of grabs that flame and kind of like pushes it back to you. And you've seen this sort of thing before. Like you get hit a couple of extra times just with this shadowy mark, and you see the bird just sit there like.
The necrotic damage was halved because I'm resistant to it, so I added that back.
Okay, awesome. Let me see. The game's already begun. Let's dance.
I could see that now.
And as you two like lunge towards each other, there's kind of like a slow motion like stop as like we end the episode. But what kind of animal sound do I hear in the distance for flavor?
Yeah, some squeaking bats. I was planning on calling a bunch of wolves, but this guy can fly, so I need some flyers on my side.
Good call. Okay, so as Seamus and this odd manipulative bird dude begin, that's where we'll pick up next week.